Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a quote in my 360e. I'm starting here from my dashboard page, or my dashboard screen, and the path I'm going to take you on is through the quotes section here. There are a couple different ways to create quotes. Some of the other videos will eliminate some of those, especially through the customer section. For this particular, I'm going to take you through the quote section. So let's go to our list page here. A quick overview of the list page. You've got a list of all your active quotes in here. You've got filters on the right so you can isolate some of the things you're looking for. And there is a search refinement tool on the top here. You enter what you're searching for, and you can also filter that by specific categories. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our quote. I hit the Add Quote button here. Notice my orange tabs here on the right, or on the top, and going from left to right. Most of these are grayed out because I have to put something in here in order to put other information in. So my first page here is going to put in my customer info. One of the things I want to show you is that you can either create a new customer on the fly while building your quote, or also create a job for an existing customer within the system. In this scenario, I'm going to use an existing customer so I can show you how the autofill works. If you don't use the autofill, then you would just fill in all the information here on your left side, and you would actually build your customer profile while you are building your quote. In this case, I will choose an existing. So I'm going to give my job a name. And let's start. I'm going to look for an existing customer here. I start typing it slowly. When I get to my fourth or fifth letter, as you can see, it's searching my customer database and any leads that I have in the system as well. In this case, I found the customer I'm looking for, so I'm going to select them. So you click on that in the middle here. And notice the rest of my page now will be pre-fill. You can draw from existing contacts and addresses that you already have in the system, or again, on the left, you can add a new one and embellish that customer's profile. In this case, I will assume that this is all pre-existing information, so that will make filling this page out pretty easy. Here's my recipient address. In this case, the recipient address and the job site are different, so I'm going to go ahead and indicate that here. Let's save this page. And now you'll see all of my other orange tabs are lit up. So we're just going to go from left to right. Go to your job info screen. This is kind of the cover page for the job, or for the quote rather. There's some criteria here on the left that helps you refine the job a little bit more. I'm assigning an account rep here, and I'm giving a date for my quote. What date would I like it to be sent? This way now I'll get a reminder if my quote runs later on in the system. We're going to call this a kitchen rewire. And of course, you can embellish this as much as you want. This internal scope of work is just to help you build the quote. This doesn't go out to the customer. It's just to give you information, either for now or later, that tells you what's going to be involved in this job. So let's save this. And now we're going to continue. Go to the Job Items tab. Now, this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the quote. This is what gets used to go to the customer, what gets used to be scheduled. So the job item is kind of the anchor in the system by which other things are assigned. So from here, I will create schedules and also track the job. So notice I can name my job item, or I can select from a preset over here. The other thing is that I can create my quote using all items of work in one job item, or I can create multiple job items. So let me give you an example of how we would do that. We're going to break, in this case, my kitchen rewire job into a couple of components. We'll start with demo. And for the demo, I'm going to say remove drywall, expose old wiring, and I'm going to look through my calculator here, and I will say that there's 4 hours of labor, of journeyman labor, and 4 hours of apprentice labor, and it's going against my established billing rates in the system, which I've created, and it's going to use $234 in materials. Now, this is a very simple way of creating my pricing. There's a link here that you'll see that says Launch Estimator, and that leads to the built-in bidding estimator that 360 has. I'm going to use a separate video for that because there's a lot involved in that, and there's a lot of ways to build quotes. It gets pretty intricate in how you can build quotes using preset pricing, labor codes, all kinds of different variables. So For now, I'm just going to use the shorthand, and a lot of you, if you're doing some of the smaller jobs, will end up doing it this way anyways. So let's save our job item after I've created it. Notice that it appears over here on the right. I'm going to keep going now. I'm going to call this wiring, and I will say replace old wiring with Romex, and I'm going to say drop outlets per drawing. On a quick side note, now this little tab up here that says Documents and Files, I can upload this drawing into my quote folder, and it's going to be accessible to me whenever I send my quote, review files, or send anything that I want to the customer. So I'm also going to say install three-way switches. Okay. Put my time in here, my labor rates. I'm going to have 8 hours of journeyman labor, 8 hours of apprentice labor, and about $1,200 worth of materials. Save that. I've created 2 job items now that you can see over here on the right. Let's do one more. Call it trim and detail. And I will say, I will also, actually, let's call this lighting and detail. I'm going to say install 6-inch recessed light cans. Install central light fixture. And replace drywall. Prepare for finish. For this, I will give some time here, and again, some material costs, and let's save it. Okay, so we've created 3 job items for our quote here, and again, you can put all this in one job item if you want. If you want to track them separately, or if you want them spelled out differently to the customer, you can lay it out this way. There's no wrong way to do it. I'm going to move from left to right here. This is an optional tab here called Requirements. It's a little bit more relevant when you get into jobs, but you can have all kinds of different things that attach to my quote. There might be a site inspection, or there might be a permit. You might have to get a permit in advance. You can set these things up either in the quoting part or in the jobs. I'm going to get into it a little bit more intricately when we go through the jobs module, but for the sake of this, I just want you to see that they also can be applied when you're doing the quote. I'm going to go to Review and Adjust now to take a look at my quote. As you can see, I've got a preview on the left, and on the right, I've got some controls that will allow me to customize my quote. So starting from the top here, you'll see the alternate header. What this means is that I can replace what you see up here in my quote estimate. This is my default header, but I could also call this one of these. I can have some presets that I created in my application settings. So I'm going to call this a final estimate. And I'm also going to say that I don't want my subtotals to show. I just want my total. That's a control I can do here. So this is saying display the item price, which is these items right here. If I say no, then I'm just going to get a total, and you won't see what's over here, and I'll show you that. I do want to show my total. I'm indicating a deposit is not required, but I could do that or set up pricing instructions that I have right here, and payment schedules. Any markups and other additional charges could go here. And before I hit save, I want to show you the terms and conditions. These are entered in the application settings, and they are stored there. So this would be your legal or contract language, or your exclusions, or anything like that. All you have to do is click here, and it will draw whatever you have saved in your application settings. But you can also customize it just for this quote and just reflect those items which are relevant to this quote. So you would edit that information here, and then you would save it with your quote. Now, by doing so, I do not change the master that's in the application settings. It's just going to change it for this quote. Notice now my quote says final estimate on the top. Notice that my subtotals are gone and just my total is showing. I indicated that up here. Here are my terms and conditions. Any other markups or other information would have gone in here as well. And this is a preview of what your quote will look like before it goes out. Now from here, I can either generate a PDF from my quote, or if I want to email it to my customer, I can do that just as well. So I'm going to do that in the next video, show you how to send a quote, and then we'll go into how to make revisions and copies of the quote as well. That's just a quick run through of how to create a quote. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next video.